I'd like to take it from the time where you were 12 years old and you were living in a village in Guatemala and you thought about the United States, or the time when you were 15 years old, or whenever the first time it is that you found out, hey, there's this place called the United States and there's dreams that are happening over there. Can you tell us a little bit about that time period?
Well, I always heard of United States. It has a lot of, back then when I was 12, I always thought about United States having a lot of toys. Because growing in my country, in my home, I never had the opportunity to have tons of toys. And I saw Barbies and all this stuff, and I said, United States has Barbies. And then sometimes someone from who was living here was sending me a candy or a shirt or a doll, and I was so excited, and I'm like, I love the stuff they have in the United States, even was just a candy.
Is this a family member that was sending?
Yeah, a family member was sending,
okay,
a big box with some clothes or shoes,
mm-hmm.
or even my mom came here once when I was 12, and she brought me a pair of sneakers. Probably she bought them embellished shoes now, but I was so excited because they were beautiful and they were from the United States. And I had just set that in my mind. But I never thought about coming here back then because I just was focused on going to school and be a good girl, and that's it.
So the shoes came from the United States, but actually they probably came from China to the United States, and then...
Probably,
but it didn't matter.
It didn't matter to me because it was something that someone brought me from the United States. To me, it was something different. Didn't matter how much money they cost. Probably cost $2, $10. I didn't care. Just the fact that they were from the United States, it was so exciting to me.
Okay. Now tell us the first time that you thought that you were going to come over to the United States.
Okay, we were celebrating New Year's Eve at home, and Mom was cooking, family was hanging out there, and I was helping Mom to cook.
And how old were you?
I was 23.
Okay.
23. It was December 31st. And my mom received a phone call. And it was my brother. He was wishing us Happy New Year and whatever. And my brother said that he wanted to talk to me. And I say, okay, I want to say hello to him. He was living here in the United States since 1987. Been a long time, I haven't seen him.
What year was this in the phone call? When he
that was 2003. When he called me, that was 2003.
Okay.
When he called me. I'm sorry, 2002, December 2002. And he called me, he called my mom, and he decided to talk to me, and he offered me the opportunity of coming here. And I'm like, I don't know, because I was expecting my job with the government, working in public health. I studied many years there to become someone in public health. And he said, yes, but the opportunity here, if you want to make it, I help you. And I say, I don't have a visa. I have to go and try to get a visa. But knowing that my other brothers, they went to try to get a visa and they couldn't get the visa. Because they ask you for much, like a $300 to get a visa, and when you get and pay all the money, they don't give you a visa. They just take the money.
So it's not guaranteed.
They don't guarantee you 100% that they give you a visa.
They
ask you for all the paperwork, you go, you get your passport, everything on paper, You come to the interview, you pay the $200-300, even you're poor. If you have the money, you can afford it. If you don't have the money, I'm sorry for you. You pay the $200-300 for the paperwork, interview, and then say, sorry, deny it.
Now let me ask you this real quick, and then we'll go back to your story. How long does it take to get the $300? Like a salary?
Well, if you have a good job, that takes you a month
to get
$300
to
save up. Yeah, because in my country you don't receive money every week or every day or every 2 weeks. You receive money every month. If you have a good job, you receive $300-400 per month.
So the whole salary goes to just going to get a visa. And it's not guaranteed.
Yes, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed they give you a visa.
Okay, so you go and you try to get the visa.
No, I didn't try to get the visa. I heard my brother tried to get visa. He didn't get a visa. My other brother tried to get a visa. He didn't get the visa. So I say, okay, what I'm gonna waste my money, the money that I don't have, if I don't gonna get a visa. So I told this brother who was giving me the offer to come into the United States, and I said, how can I go there? And he's like, what if I pay a coyote to come here? And you know it's very risky for you being a girl. It's very risky, but you can take the chance. And
Now, what exactly, because some people don't understand what a coyote is. So when you say coyote, you pay a coyote, what is that?
A coyote is a person who help you to cross from Central South America or another country to come to the United States illegally.
Okay.
That's a coyote. They charge you, back then they were charging $5,000 or $6,000. Now probably they're charging $10,000.
Okay.
You know, some people sell their houses or a little thing that they have, they sell it to collect their money and pay the coyote to come here. And sometimes the coyote, they use to steal the money and they don't cross them.
Okay.
And I made all the paperwork there to come to United States. I went to get the Mexican visa to come to Mexico first and then cross the border.
And how did you get to Mexico?
I flew.
Okay.
I went to get the visa in Mexico. They gave me a permit for 7 days. And I had to pretend that I was just going to have fun in Mexico and then going back to my country.
Okay.
But I heard stories before that if being a girl crossing the border illegally, they can rape you or they can kill you. So I was kind of down in the back of my head, but I didn't want to mention all the stuff to my mom because she was broken heart with me crossing the border. She was so afraid. But I tried to be strong and I say, Mom, everything is gonna be okay. I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna live the dream, and I'm gonna help you guys with money. You know, I'm gonna send you money every time I can. And the first thing I did is I went to my friend and I put one injection in case I get raped in the crossing the border, and I didn't want to have a baby from a coyote or someone that I didn't know. Someone raped me in the crossing the border.
In case
someone raped me.
So it was a birth control shot?
Yeah, a birth control shot I took, so I didn't wanna, get the risk.
Okay.
But I did that behind my mom's back because I didn't want her to worry so much about me.
Sure.
But and then the process became, I flew to Mexico. Being in Mexico, I was scared because it was a lot of people that I didn't know, and Mexico was a big city, and I saw a lot of weird people. And
okay, so you flew to Mexico, and where are you? Are you on the street by yourself? Are you with your coyote?
no, I'm with my coyote.
Okay.
I'm with my coyote the whole time in Mexico. We went to the church. She was praying for us too.
Okay. And how many people were in the whole group? Or
In my group, we were like 10 people.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we went to sleep to these little hotels, probably they have bed bugs, I don't know, but they were weird and ugly hotels, but we stayed there, and I saw many people from other countries with different stories.
Okay.
I saw a girl there, she had scratches all over the place, and I asked her, what happened to you? And she told me that she was running so fast to cross the border and she fell off. And there were so many bushes with thorns, and she got scratches because she heard dogs and the border patrol coming, and she got caught and she was sent to Mexico again, and she was trying to cross the border again because she wanted money for her family.
Okay.
So, and then I tried to become friends with the guys in my group because I want to feel protected. If some coyote or someone want to rape me, they will help me to not get raped.
Sure.
So
let me ask you this real quick. So the biggest concern for the females, that obviously is rape or sexual harassment, whatever it may be. Is there that same fear for the males, but not for rape, or possibly for rape? But what is the fear for a male crossing?
for male, the only fear is that coyote don't cross them. Or the coyote steal their money and leave them in the desert or something like that. The only fear they have.
Okay.
Our fear is raping.
Sexual.
Sexual harassment or someone rape us.
Yeah.
That's the fear that we have. And plus the other things that guys fear, that they will take our money and leave us hanging there or dying or.
So not only do you have that fear of getting your money stolen and all these other things, but you have the the rape or sexual assault
Yes, yes,
fear.
yes.
Okay. So you're in Mexico. You're at a hotel, a dirty hotel or motel with a group of people.
Yeah.
And you said there's 10 people there.
In my group, we were like 10 people.
And how many total?
I saw a lot of people. I can't remember a number. I can't tell a number, but I saw a lot of people there. They were
30 or 50
yeah.
or
And then
something?
there was some moment that we have to hide because we heard the border patrol from Mexico. I don't know how you call them.
Uh-huh.
They can get you if you're not from Mexico. They ask you for papers, and they can deport you from Mexico to your original country.
Okay.
So we were hiding there, and then
So that's essentially that's, if you're from Mexico, you're next to the United States, but the further you go away from Mexico, you got to kind of go here, one
Yeah,
step,
yeah.
further. From where you came was one step, past
one
Mexico.
step, yeah.
But if you're in South America or if you're
Yeah.
in Panama or something, you got to go up
Yeah.
a few states
Yeah.
or a few countries to get to Mexico, and then you start the journey from
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So essentially, it doesn't. The journey is long, even before you even get to Mexico.
Yeah, there were 3 girls in my group. They didn't want to talk to anyone, but I remember one of them. She was from Honduras, and she had passport from Guatemala. I didn't ask many questions because she didn't want to talk to me. She was just probably focused on crossing and not making friends with anyone. And my intentions was just making friends to be protected.
Sure.
Because I was by myself and I was very young. I was 23 years old. And but they told me that they had to get a passport from Guatemala, because if they get deported from Mexico, they're just gonna go to Guatemala. They don't go to Honduras, which is more expensive.
Okay.
And when they went from Honduras to Mexico to meet our coyote, they have to go in a bus. They didn't take a plane because they didn't have a visa to go Mexico.
Huh.
Yes.
So you were saying about you're in Mexico, you're at the hotel.
Yes. So I have to stay more than 3 days in the hotel, because they were saying the Mexican border patrol, they were looking every place if they could find illegals. They were crossing the border, and that's why our coyotes kept us in the hotel for a couple of days. My struggle in Mexico was about food too, because Mexico, they eat a lot of jalapeno and spicy food. I couldn't handle, so I didn't eat most of the time, which I lose. In that period of time, I lost 15 pounds. And
Wow.
yeah, and then we went to another city. I don't remember much the name of the city. I was going by bus the whole time. So we were moving in a bus, and there was a moment that time we were in a bus for probably 20 hours.
Where, in Mexico?
In Mexico,
Okay.
yes, in Mexico. And the people who were coming from Honduras, El Salvador with different passports, they put these people underneath where you put the suitcases in the buses.
Sure,
And
sure.
I remember they handed a bag with fruit for them to eat. And I was so sad in my heart thinking about these people. They couldn't have the same privilege that I had, because I was traveling with Mexican visa. I couldn't get kicked out of Mexico for a couple of days because I was legal there. But these people where you put the cases in the bus, they weren't legal because they didn't travel with visa.
Yeah, so essentially they illegally crossed the Mexican
Illegally
border.
crossed
So here they are,
Mexico. Yes.
trying to slide through Mexico.
Exactly.
And you're at least
I was safe.
somewhat safe
Yes,
in
in that
Mexico.
moment I was safe because I was traveling legally.
Okay.
Yes, and then there was a moment we went to this place close to El Paso, Texas.
Uh-huh.
I think so. That's the name. And it was a little town, like a
Is
kind of
this
desert.
in
It's
Mexico?
Mexico.
It's not Juarez or something?
No, I don't remember Juarez's name. I don't
Okay.
remember. It's been a long time ago, 13 years ago, so I can't remember exactly what name was. But I remember it was this little village. It was just one house in the middle of nowhere. We were sleeping there. We were 4 people sleeping in a twin bed, just putting our heads in the bed because the rest of our body were hanging on the bed. We were so tired. I was dehydrated. I was skinny, and I asked for a glass of water because I was so thirsty. And the only thing they had was salty water. I don't know why they didn't have water.
Which doesn't do any good because it makes you
No,
more
I tried to
dehydrated.
drink and I couldn't drink it.
Sure.
And then someone went to a store for an hour or something to get us water because we were dehydrated. And I remember that night we slept with clothes on and shoes on, ready to just cross the border. We were close to our dream, you know. And around 3 in the morning, it was dark, it was cold, it was February. The coyote came. That was different coyote from the one from Guatemala. In Mexico, my coyote left me with other coyotes.
Okay.
Yes. And I remember she just took my passport and she said, you cannot use your passport anymore. And I'm like, why not? That's the only identification I have. She's like, no, you can't. Give it to me.
Yeah.
And give me the money that you owe me here. So I gave her my money and I ended with that money. And my other coyote, which I didn't know his name, I'd never saw him before, they took us into this truck, put us like 20 people in this truck, in the back of the truck, and he started riding, but he was driving in zigzag because he was drunk and he was under drugs. We were scared that we were gonna have a car accident.
Yeah.
So finally we went where it was a river, and that was around 4 in the morning. It was a river. There were a lot of trees, but with no leaves because it was February and it was cold. So he told us, when he let us know, we have to run behind him the whole time. Just follow him. We don't have to scream, we don't have to talk, just run. We have to cross the river. And one of the guys, I remember, he just took his shoes off and rolled his pants. And we were laughing because we saying, what are you doing? You're not gonna have time to put your shoes back. And he's like, don't worry, I wanna be wet, dry. So we start laughing and then say, okay. So, and then the coyote say, okay, run. So we start running in the river, and the river wasn't that high. Probably was like this high. And we start running and running and running. I don't remember how big was the river because I was just scared, and I was just, my goal was to cross the border.
Sure.
And then I remember falling in sand. It was like a little hill with sand. I fall, I trip, I get some sand in my mouth, and some of the guys just pull my hand, and I continue running, and I was all wet. And then we hide behind bushes, dry bushes, because I told you there was no leaves. And then we started hiding there, and I was wet. And I started shaking because I was cold, it was freezing. And one of the guys hugged me just to give me some heat. And I was shaking, and we saw the border patrol, a truck with border patrol people. And they were just kind of like looking people, and we were kind of, scared.
Yeah.
And then a car came, took us, and brought us to a trailer. I don't remember the name of the place. And they gave us food, they gave us warm food, they gave us clothes, and stuff like that. And I was feeling a little safe and warm.
And
Took
they
a
told
shower.
you, hey, you're here.
Yeah, they tell us, you cross, you are in the United States. And my mind say, when you cross United States, you already see the buildings and the cars and dollars everywhere and tall people with blue eyes and blonde hair. That was my head. I didn't see anything of that when I crossed. I just saw bushes and sand, and I'm like, what am I in that truck in the middle of the desert?
Yeah.
And then I expected people started speaking English to me, but they were speaking Spanish. And I'm like, what is this? I don't think, I think I'm still in Mexico.
Yeah.
That was my mind, but then they
So
sent...
it takes a little bit longer to see your actual dream than
Yeah.
than to just step
Yeah,
in.
I thought I just crossed the border and my dream is gonna start from that moment.
10 guys with blonde hair and blue eyes
Yes.
and no shirts on come up
Yeah.
and say, hey,
Yeah.
I've been waiting for you.
Exactly, in English all the time, but no, I didn't see that. But I remember they sent me to a dollar store to get some clothes. And that's what I knew I was in the United States, because I was paying with dollars.
Okay.
And people in the store were speaking English. And I said, yes, I made it to United States, and I didn't get raped. I did it, you know, that, and I prayed to God and I said, thank God I didn't get raped.
Yeah.
Because that was my big fear, to get raped.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, at this point, did you speak English? Did you know some words?
I didn't know any English. I knew some words. They were words they told me in school, you know.
Like what?
Like hello,
Okay.
my name is,
Uh-huh.
numbers, colors, but I couldn't hold a conversation with anyone. First of all, you don't have confidence. Second of all, you never had a conversation in English before, so how you gonna put all the things together?
Sure.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
So I didn't speak any English at all.
Okay.
Yes, and then when I was in the trailer, I slept probably 1 or 2 nights there, and then they sent me to another place in Arizona. I was in a room with the rest of the people.
So, where was your goal to get to?
My goal was to go to New York.
New York.
Where my brother was expecting
Okay.
me. Yes, and then I went to Arizona, and I remember the guy ordered hamburgers and stuff like that, KFC, and
The good stuff.
the good stuff. I didn't like it because I was too much fat, you know, and
Sure.
probably I was sick too. I didn't eat well in 8 days.
Sure.
Crossing the border to me took like 8 days.
Wow.
And
Okay.
those 8 days is when I lose 15 pounds.
Sure.
Because I wasn't eating
Yeah.
and drinking water.
Okay.
And yes, I remember drinking Coca-Cola in there because I was so thirsty and hungry and all this stuff. And then after that, they bought me a ticket to ride a bus from Arizona to New York City.
Okay. And you
I
were able to contact your brother by phone?
Yes, I was buying those payphone cards.
Sure.
And I called my brothers from those public phones.
Uh-huh.
You know, and he was all the time, you know, expecting my calls and worry about me.
Yeah.
When I took the bus, it took me 3 days to go to New York in that bus, but I was scared of taking the wrong bus because without English, it's hard to say what bus should I take.
Yeah.
Even they give you a ticket with numbers, but you don't have any idea how that works.
So what do? Do you find somebody that has...
Yes, another person was coming next to me, and that person was from Guatemala too, and we together find out the way to go there.
So you're looking for somebody that looks like they speak
Yes,
Spanish, or anything?
yeah, the whole time I always look for someone who speaks Spanish and could tell me, you know, what I need to know.
Okay.
And then going there, and then you know, you have to bathe in the bathroom at the bus for 3 days, you know, washing your thing, changing your clothes, and sleeping in the bus and eating whatever you can afford because I didn't have much money.
Okay.
Yes, and finally, 3 days later, I got it. I made it to New York City where my brother and his family were waiting for me.
Okay.
They greeted me, they hugged me, and I was crying, and I was happy because I was safe.
Yeah.
I felt safe in that moment.
Okay.
And then they took me to Chinatown to eat some Chinese food, and I was impressed.
Once again, some of the best food that you can get in America.
Yes, absolutely. I thought it was the best because they gave you a lot of food, and I was eating whatever they gave me because I was hungry.
Probably needed sodium, so that was
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
not such a bad thing at the time.
Yeah, probably. And they took me to a store to buy pajamas and clothes because I didn't have any clothes with
Okay.
me. I had just the same pair of shoes that I brought from Guatemala, the wet ones. Is the only thing I had. They
Okay.
bought me shoes and clothes and stuff like that, and they took me home and stayed there for days, and you know.
Okay. So, let's talk about, you made it to New York. Stage 1 is complete. You're there. What's going through your head, and what happens next to where this is a new beginning, essentially?
Well, when I got there, I was so happy, as I told you, because I felt safe that I was with family. All the things that my brother told me gonna be come true because all the offers he made me, and that was part of the things that I came here because he offered me and he painted me my world like a pink with flowers and butterflies. That's the way he painted for me, and I said that's a happy place. I wanna go there.
I always say hula hoops and lollipops.
Yes.
Same
Yeah,
thing.
it's like, yeah, it's something that you really like. For me, because I love the pink color, I say pink color and butterflies and rainbows.
Okay.
Yes. And he painted me that word, and I wanted to have that word. So when I got into New York, and start, and he received me. I was so happy. And plus I haven't spent time with him because when he left Guatemala, I was 7 years old, so I couldn't enjoy my older brother. He's my older, the first kid that my mom had.
Now, is he married? Does he have kids? Does he have a job?
Yeah, he has 2 daughters. He's married and he has his own business. He's American citizen here.
Okay.
Yes, he was good. He was doing great, and I was so happy for him.
What type of business did he have?
He had a body shop, and he was doing great job, fixing cars. And I saw his body shop after that, and I saw the house that he has, and he was taking vacations everywhere. He was happy.
Yeah.
And the offer he gave me is like coming to United States and be his secretary. And I was so happy because I said, coming to the States and I'm gonna have a stable job with my brother, living with him. He offered me to pay me $400 per week, living with him in the house, and
that's going back to what you said before. That's a month in Guatemala.
that's a month in Guatemala. So I say I was in heaven.
Yeah.
Because that was what I could make in a month, being, professional, having a college degree.
Okay.
And then coming here and being just a secretary, using the computer and talking on the phone. $400 was a lot of money for me, and I said, wow. And then with this money, I can help my mom. I can send money to my family and go to school and learn something and become someone. And then, but I didn't speak English, and that was a little problem because he wanted someone who speaks English for secretary, and he knew that I didn't speak English, so he said, "You're not working with me. Can you make me a favor? You're not coming to the office anymore because you don't know anything. You're dumb." That's what the first thing he told me, that I was a dumb person because I didn't speak English.
And how long before you got there, you're happy? He says, okay,
Well,
tomorrow we're going to start your first day of work. How long before he said, what did he say, you can't work here anymore?
No, the first thing is he picked me up in New York, we went to his house, and 3 days later, a week later, he took us to Florida. Okay. That was like a present, like a welcome present for me. And I was so happy, I'm like, oh my gosh, my brother is a beautiful person, he's giving me all these presents, and I was so excited. He took me to Echo Center.
Yeah.
And I enjoy see all the stuff, but I couldn't enjoy 100% because I didn't speak English. So whatever they talk and
Disney World.
Disney World, yeah. When they're giving you a tour, whatever they're talking, you know what they're saying. I just enjoy it with my eyes.
Sure.
What I see, but I couldn't enjoy it with my ears because I couldn't understand anything. But I was happy anyway. And we stayed there for a couple of days, staying in a hotel and the pool, and it was beautiful seeing everything like I saw on TV, and I say, wow, this is America, this is what always people talk about, and I love it, I love here, and I'm so blessed, thank you God for giving me this chance. And then we came back to New York. It was snowing, a lot of snow, and I was so thrilled when I saw snow because I never saw that in my life.
I thought you were going to say, we came to New York and it was snowing. Oh my gosh, this is terrible, but you loved it.
No, I loved it because I never seen snow. I saw in the movies or in cartoons in Guatemala, snow, and I thought it was pieces of clouds coming,
Yeah.
And when I touched it, it was beautiful, and I want to eat it, and I want to swim, but I couldn't be there more than 1 minute because I was freezing. And yeah, it was terrible, and I'm like, I can't, because I want to go for a walk, enjoying the white land, all the white path. And then I couldn't walk because it was freezing, so I got back home.
Yeah.
And then when he tried to send me in this job at his office, and he saw that I didn't speak English, and he saw that I didn't know much about being a secretary, I told him, if you teach me, I will learn, and I can do whatever you want me in the office. But he didn't want to teach me anything, and he said that I was a dumb person, and I don't need to go to the office anymore because I'm just making him wasting time. And I said, but you offer me to come in the office and give me a job. He said, no, you don't need to come here. We're gonna see something else. You're gonna get a job tomorrow. So he sent me to work in this factory to start packing candies, you know, and every time I was going to the place to work, I was crying because I felt so sad in my heart knowing that I studied many years in my country to become someone. I had an education there, and just for being in the United States packing candies, it didn't worth it. I said I should have stayed in Guatemala.
Do you remember how much money you were making packing the candies? I mean, you went from $400 a week to, I'm assuming, a little bit less than at least
Yeah,
less
I
than
was
that.
making $300 per week, and plus I had to pay taxes.
Yeah,
So I was making $200 per week.
okay. You know, it's funny, a lot of people think that you were still illegal at this time. A lot of people think that illegal, excuse me, that people that are illegal in this country don't pay taxes.
Yeah, we pay taxes.
Yeah.
We pay taxes.
And did you have, what is it called, an ITIN number?
No, I didn't have a number, an ITN number.
But they take the taxes out?
Yeah, they gave me a number. I don't know how they gave me that number in their place, but I had to pay taxes with that number.
Okay,
So I remember they were taking from my check some money,
okay.
and they gave me like $200. With that money, I was sending half to my mom, $100 to my mom, or whatever I have in my pocket.
Sure.
Yeah, but I had to start paying my brother too because I was living in his house.
Okay.
And he was taking me to the job, and it's still cold and wasn't that close to home. I remember one morning he drove me to the job, and he got pissed at me, and he said, "This is not my obligation to give rise to illegal people, to wetback people. I don't need to do this." And I say, "But you brought me here. You promised me you're gonna help me out." And he's like, "It's not my job to give right to illegal people. You gotta find a way to go to your job."
Mm.
And I was so broken heart, and I said, "Okay, no problem." Next day, I tried to grab the bicycle, and it was a lot of snow on the road, and I didn't know where to go, and I didn't know the streets. By that time, probably I was a month coming from Guatemala, was a month later, and riding the bicycle in the cold. I was wearing gloves, I was wearing scarf and everything, and I was shaking. I almost passed out because it was too cold. And then I went back home, and I said, "I can't make it, I can't do it. I don't know what to do." And then they fired me from the place because they were taking people out of the work because they didn't have a lot of job. So they were just getting rid of the new people, and I was new, so they didn't have any job. And then my brother said, "You know, I'm gonna find you another job. You're gonna be the maid of this person." And they took me to another house, and I said, "I don't wanna be a maid. I didn't come for this." And he's like, "Yes, this is the only thing you can do for now. You gotta be a maid." And there was another person, another Latino who had papers. She wanted me to be her maid, and I'm like, "No, I'm not taking this job. I'm sorry, I'm not." And then my brother started being a little, how do you say it when someone doesn't want you in their house?
You know, demeaning to, you know.
Yes, and then my
He
brother.
was demeaning you, I guess?
Yes, my brother started making fun of me because I didn't speak English.
Yeah.
When we were at dinner, he was laughing at me because I couldn't pronounce a word. I tried to say, because I wanted to impress him with the first word I could pronounce very well here, and I told him in Spanish, "Oh, I went to the store and I bought a notebook," I say. And he started laughing at me because I said notebook and I didn't say notebook. And I tried to say the word in English. And he started laughing at me and everyone at the table was laughing at me. And I felt bad because I was trying my best to learn English and find another job where I could use my English. But then every day they were making fun of me that I was illegal, and they want me to be cleaning his house every time and, you know, cooking for them. And I said, "I can't take it anymore." And one day he called me to the living room and started talking to me and started accusing me of things that I came here just to do nothing. And, you know, I'm supposed to take care of his girls, I'm supposed to clean the house, I'm supposed to cook, and I'm not doing anything.
So you were saying, this is gonna try to be correct. Hold on a second, cut that. So you came here, you were excited when you saw your brother, and things weren't panning out the way you or your brother thought they would pan out. So what did you do next? You didn't have a job.
No,
You didn't have any money.
No.
And your the relationship with your brother was kind of going downhill a little bit.
Going down, yes.
So what happened?
One night, he called me to the living room and he decided to talk to me. And he started yelling at me, saying that he told me that he got mad because I was using the telephone. But to use the telephone, I always bought a payphone card because I didn't want him to pay for my phone calls. And he said, you came from the street and you're not allowed to use the phone because people from the streets are not allowed to use the phone. And I say, okay. And the other thing is, you're supposed to clean the house. You're supposed to take care of the kids. That was the only reason you came to the States. And I'm like, you didn't say that to me. You offered me something different. And now you tell me that. Yeah, and then he started yelling at me. He made me cry. He said, I regret the time I helped you, Maria, because you're supposed to do all the things. You're supposed to, whatever I say, you gotta do it. And then he made me cry that day because he was so tough toward me. And I say, you know what? I'm gonna make this easier for you. I'm leaving your house tomorrow. And he's like, you're not leaving this house until you pay me the last cent I invest on you. You have to pay me everything. And I said, I will pay you for whatever you ask me to pay. But I'm gonna leave this house because I can't take it anymore. You accusing me, you treating me the way I never expect. I thought you're gonna help me out because you're my brother, you're my old brother. And I don't have anywhere to go. I don't speak English, I don't have money. I don't have anywhere to go. And he's like, you're not leaving this house until you pay. If you pay, you can leave whatever you want. And I say, okay, fine, you're not gonna see me tomorrow. So then I packed a little backpack with 2 jeans. I took 2 bananas and 2 plums, and I have $40 in my pocket for my past job. And I packed my stuff and I left. I took the train from Long Island to New York, and I didn't know how to buy a ticket because I didn't speak English. I don't know how I did it, but in the train I spoke to someone who didn't speak Spanish. He just spoke English and French, and I just speak Spanish. I don't know how I communicate with this person, but he took me to the station and to buy the ticket for another place. While on internet, I met a friend too, because I didn't have any friends, so I was dying to have friends to start looking for a job or start knowing the area. So I found a friend and he offered me help. He said, come to Miami and I will find you a job here and you can start over again. And I was happy for it. So I went to the station and he bought me a ticket. He lent me $100 for that ticket. I stayed there, I waited for my train, and I went to Florida. When I got there, the only thing the guy wanted was a woman to have sex with.
Uh-huh.
And now I didn't come for that. I thought I'm gonna have a job, I'm gonna start working. But he wanted to take advantage of me, so I say no.
Did you expect that at all? I mean, as a female, you know.
I was kind of like thinking in my mind that he's gonna ask me those things, but I didn't want to accept it because I thought that you can find a friend,
Yeah.
you know. In the storm, you probably gonna find a safe place to stay, but somehow, but I couldn't. So I decided to continue, and then I went back to New York, and I slept in the train station 2 nights because I didn't know where to go, and I was crying and crying and crying, and I was hungry that day, and the only money I had was for buying a ticket somewhere. And then one lady saw me crying and talking on the phone, and she offered me some money. She gave me $20, and she said, I understand your pain, so here's $20. And I was so happy that someone could do something for me without knowing me, you know, and without expecting me anything. So, and then I met another person, and that person gave me a room for 1 or 2 weeks. And in that period of time, and my mom said, Maria, what's going on? Are you okay? And I said to my mom, yes, mom, everything is going fine. Everything is working well. I'm in a friend's house right now, and everything is going great. And she said, are you okay? Because you're not with your brother anymore. He told me you left. And I said, yes, mom, our relationship is not fine, but everything is okay. I'm sleeping well, I'm eating well, and I'm looking for a job, and soon I'm gonna find a job. And my mom said, in my heart, I think something is wrong. And I said, no, mom, never gonna be wrong with me. You know, everything's gonna be fine. But I knew that my life was kind of like tough, and I was suffering inside. I was scared, but I didn't want to go back to my country because I say I can't go back there. I came here for a dream, and I had to look for that dream. I had to fight for that dream. I can't go like a quitter. I can't be like that. And I stayed, and then my mom told me that my older brother was coming to the States. And that made me happy because I say, I'm gonna meet him and I'm gonna stay with him. And then we're gonna work together, or we're gonna help each other, and I have someone to stay with, someone that I know. Because I was looking for a job all over the place while I was with my friend, and I couldn't find anything. I was looking in restaurants and as a maid, whatever I could find, and no one was giving me a job because they didn't have any positions, or they didn't know me, they were scared of me or whatever, I don't know. And plus I didn't speak English, so that was making me giving me more limitations.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I want to get to that point later about, because obviously you speak English now, you speak it well. So I want to get to that point, at some point, how did that happen, and how did that better your life? But continue with what, so your other brother was coming over here, and you were going to meet with him.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
Yeah, actually that happened. I was with this friend, and I was trying not to eat 3 times per day because I didn't want to, spend much money.
Sure.
Because those $40 I were shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And probably I was eating once a day or something. And then when my brother came, I called him and I asked him where he was. And he told me he was in New Jersey. So I came to this town in New Jersey, and I met him, and I was so happy that someone that I grew up with is going to be with me, and everything is going to be fine. Everything is going to start being better since that moment. And actually, I found a job. He found me a job in a restaurant, cleaning tables, because I couldn't do much without English. And I was so happy having a job, cleaning tables. So happy, and being with my brother.
I can see your teeth, the smile coming on your face, as if you're reliving that day when you got the phone call from your brother, or when you saw him. I can see the light come on even today, and we're talking about 10 years ago or something like that?
13 years ago.
Okay, 13 years ago.
Yeah, I was so happy seeing my brother. And
So great. So you're working at the restaurant, and you're living with your brother now? Or?
Yeah, I'm living with my brother now. He's in a place with his friend, and he's living in the couch now, which is fine with me, because I just want to be in a safe place.
Sure.
With someone that I know. And I was being friends with the people in the kitchen, which they were Costa Rican and Mexicans, and we speak the same language. And I was so happy that I could understand someone speaking the same things I was talking. And the people in the restaurant, the owner, he was so nice to me. The people working there, they were very nice. I don't know what they said to me because I didn't understand, but they were patting my back all the time, And I'm like, the first word I remember learning and saying to everyone was yes. Whatever they say was yes, even I didn't know what they said. Because you just want to smile and say yes.
Yeah. It's like Spanish. It's like hola or si.
Yes,
Same thing.
exactly.
In reverse.
So every time they require me something in the table, I repeat it all over the way. They say glass. Can I have a glass? And I say the last word I remember, glass, 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 glass. Going the whole way to the kitchen, I asked the guy, what's glass? And he say, vaso. So I started thinking down in my back of the brain, saving those words for later and say, I cannot use those words. So I started learning that little by little by little. Every time they were asking me something, I would just repeating the word all over the place.
And that's how you learned?
And that's the way I started learning English.
Okay. How did you get to that point to where you're speaking now
Oh,
fluently?
well, it was one day I was going to a doctor, and I had a kind of rash in my arms, and I went to a doctor, Hispanic doctor, and I said, "Doctor, what is this? Can you please give me some medication for this?" And he's like, "Oh yes, but I need you to go to the hospital and get a liver test to see if you can handle these pills I'm gonna give you." And then I say, "Okay, fine." I went to the hospital and I asked, to get a liver test. The only problem is they didn't speak Spanish in the hospital. That was 6 months later since I come here.
Okay.
And then I couldn't ask for the liver test in Spanish because there wasn't a person who speaks Spanish. So the doctor said, "How can I help you?" And I say in Spanish, and I start thinking how you ask someone to do a test in English. So I say, "Can you test this?" I remember clearly that I say it. And he's like, "What do you mean?" "Yeah, test this, please." And he say, "What do you mean by that?" And I asked for a paper and pen, and I drew the liver, and I say, "Test this."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you want me to test your liver?" I say, "Yes." And since that moment, I say, I have to learn English because this can't happen to me again.
Yeah,
Since that moment, I say, no more Spanish. I have to learn English. So and that was the kick I had to learn English.
And so that took you on a whole nother level of, this is where my life is going to go.
Yes.
At that point, when you figured out, this is what, I have to learn this language, or I cannot progress any more than I am right now. Explain to me, what happened? A light bulb went off, and what happened after that?
Okay, so when that time in the hospital, the embarrassment I had about not knowing the language and wanted to communicate with the doctor and all the stuff, I say I have to learn English if I want to be able to communicate with people in this country, or if I want to progress. Because if I don't learn English, I'm going to be just in a little bubble speaking Spanish the whole time with tons of limitations. And I didn't want to have more limitations than the ones I had already. So I bought a little book. It cost me probably $10. Little books, they say how you can learn English pronouncing in Spanish. And then every day I was reading that book. Every single day, wherever I go, work and whatever. And I put my telephone in English. In the settings, telephone English. The music I was listening was all in English. The TV shows I was watching was English. My word turned into English. I put closed caption on the TV. Every time someone was talking in the TV, I could read. And that way, I could learn how to read and how to pronounce words in English. So that's why I started. And every time I was hearing someone saying a word, I keep repeating in my brain what that means. And I keep repeating. So I went to a dictionary, looked for the word, and then looking for the answer. And then that way, I could learn a new word every single day.
And when was the point that you thought, I know this language. I can go somewhere, speak to someone, order food, go here, go there. From how long was that?
Probably it took me like a year or 2 years to start being confident about speaking English.
And that's a long time.
Yes.
A long time.
Because,
For someone who's in a country that has to communicate.
Yes.
So that's a lot of perseverance.
Yes. And there were a time that I want to have a conversation with someone, even I couldn't say things very well. I tried, even it was funny, or I said things backward. I continue saying sometimes things backward this time, But and then I hear myself and I say, no, that's not the way you have to say it. So I fixed the words. Yeah, I was doing great and I was so happy.
Okay, great. So let's talk about life now. How has life changed since, the first 6 months that you were here until now? You seem pretty happy. We're talking. What's going on in your life now? And it's been 13 years since you've been here.
Yeah. Well, you know, what it makes me happy is knowing in my head the only limitations people have is the limitations they put in themselves. And I took that veil out of my eyes long time ago. Human doesn't have limitations. So if I wanna, for example, if tomorrow in this country they start changing, let's say you guys start speaking French, and I don't speak French, because if I don't speak French, my limitation is gonna be like this, like this, like this, until a point that I can't move anymore. So I have to learn French now, and that means I'm not putting limitations into my life. So, for example.
No, I get that. I mean, it's funny that you say that, because I can tell you, as Americans, a lot of us put those limitations on ourselves because of what we learn as kids. You know, I've met a lot of people from different countries that immigrate here, whether they immigrate illegally or legally or whatever it may be. And the one thing that I've seen from most of these people is that their eyes are wide open. You know, they see the whole country, you know, whatever they want to do, it's here. But sometimes as Americans, we grow up thinking, well, you know, my dad was a candlestick maker, so I have to be a candlestick maker. Or, you know, I'm from a certain part of the country, so I can't move to another part of the country and do what they do. Or I want to be a musician, but it's too hard. I'm not going to make any money in the beginning, so I don't want to do it. So we tend to put those limitations on ourselves also. Whereas what you're saying is, you know, hey, you have to be like water. You have to be able to flow and go with the flow, because things change.
Yeah.
No matter where we are.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we have, here we are in 2016. And well, how do you see life right now? What are the positives? Let's start with the positive things. You still don't have paperwork, correct?
Correct.
So let me ask you this. What I see, and this is the research that I've done, people can get married. You're obviously an attractive girl. So I'm sitting about 3 feet from you. You could have married somebody to get the paperwork, to get legal status here, to get a green card, whatever it may be. You speak English. You know, you seem like you're, you know, a joy to be around. What kept you from doing that? Or what is there a story that you tried to do that, or what, you know, what's the case? Can you talk about that?
Yes. Well, one of the things is, for example, back then I was dating someone, American citizen, actually a white guy. You know, I always feel attracted about the light skin color and the blue eyes since I was a kid, always.
So you're saying I have a chance, essentially.
well,
talk about that.
Talk about that, yeah, off the camera. Yes. The thing is, I was dating this person, but I knew that I couldn't, even I married him, I couldn't have any paper with him, because the limitation I had about that is big. For example, if I came here with a visa, the story was different. In 6 months after getting married, I would have papers. You know, me jumping the border like you guys say, it's not like there's a wall and we jump like that. You know, me coming illegally is difficult, because it was before than this president gave us the chance, like kind of like give us a pardon or waiver or something. Obama.
Okay.
Yes, but before than that, there wasn't any chance for me to get any paperwork.
Okay.
Yes, and they had to send me to my country for 10 years without being with my family, you know, and then after that, they forgive me about being here legally, and I can reunite with my family after 10 years. It wouldn't worth it, that. Okay. You know, because I wouldn't like to be living apart with my kids if I had for 10 years.
So that's interesting, because I didn't know that, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers didn't know that. So if you come here legally with a visa, you come here and you overstay. I'm assuming a visa is 3 months or 6 months or a year. I'm not really sure. But if you overstay that visa, and you essentially get married, then, you know, within 6 months you can have a green card and access to citizenship. But if you cross the border illegally, it's a completely different story.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. I didn't even know that. Okay, so continue. So
So yes, that's why even I wanted to marry this person that time. We couldn't,
So you were in love with this person. You weren't doing it for any other person.
No, I wasn't doing it for any papers or something. It's yeah, we took different ways because we weren't meant to be together. But yes, it wouldn't. Yeah, he wanted me to be marry him and be legal and travel the world, but I couldn't offer that to
Sure.
him. Even I wanted,
Yeah.
couldn't. So yeah, now it's a different chance because after the President Obama is trying to push this immigration reform, for us. He want to help people like me being here legally and become someone in life because a lot of people like me, we want to go to school, we want to raise a family, we want to make our lives in this country because honestly, I love this country very much. This country to me means opportunity. Since I've been here for 13 years, I see in this country like the big opportunity of everyone's life. Because if you work hard, you make money. If you save your money, you can be rich. It's simple as that. You just have to work and be focused on your dreams and your goal. Never quit. Never quit. Because if I quit 13 years ago, I was back in my country making probably $300 per month. I don't know what happened, I don't know if I could survive with that money there. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't.
And that's good money back then.
It's good money
300.
back then. But the thing
No, I mean, good money. There's some people that $300 is good money from your making it a month in your country, whereas some people are making $50 a month.
yeah, exactly. But if you have a high education there, you can make that money.
That leads me into another question. From speaking with people, especially this year, we have where we are now. It looks like we're going to have Donald Trump on the Republican side running for president, and Hillary Clinton on the Democratic side running for president. And they have different views on immigration, but even the views that they have, let's put their views aside. The country is, there's a lot of thoughts that come with immigration. It's in my opinion, it's one of the top 5 things that are going to be spoken about during these debates and issues that they're going to be speaking of before the November election. It's one of the major points. On one side, we have people who think, listen, we have open borders, meaning people like yourself can come over here. I'm sure it's different than it was 13 years ago, but people cross the border, they come over here, they take jobs away, commit some crimes. Some people, not everybody. The bad. We can't just let everyone come over here because if we let that, then what about the people who actually live here? If we let everyone come over here that possibly can come over, then we're going to be taking jobs from Americans. Or if we make people like you legal, what about the people back in your country? Are they going to say, hey, they're making people legal in America, let's go quickly so that we can all become legal? Essentially what happens is then all of a sudden, when there's a lot of jobs and not enough people, everybody's happy. When there's no jobs and too many people, nobody's happy. So let's talk about the 2 points of views, or maybe it's gray, we have on immigration. From what I've talked to people about it, we have some positives and some negatives about making the people that are here legal, and about keeping the people out, and sending people back and this sort of thing. One of the things that I've seen is people feel, we have this pot of jobs, and if there's less people than there are jobs, everyone's happy. Everyone gets a job and everyone's happy. If we have a lot of people and little jobs, nobody's happy because everyone's fighting for the same jobs. And I'm not sure where we are right now, but that's one of the major points for the election, is that we're losing jobs. We're losing jobs because manufacturing is going over to China or Mexico, as Donald Trump would say. And then the other side is the humanity side, where it's, hey, people like yourself, that you've been here for 13 years, you're a hard worker, you haven't committed any crimes, you're a good person, what can we do about people like yourself, but also about these kids that have been here, since they're 5 years old and don't know anything else? What do we do? How do we make them legal without closing the border off and without having everyone say, hey, these guys came here illegally, we made them legal, let's go to the United States so we can become legal, because then all of a sudden the pool of jobs lessens and the people, there's more people and less jobs. What do you say to that? How could we fix that? What are the steps that we could take as a country so we treat everyone fairly? Because there is no one side. You can't throw everyone out. You can't let everybody in. So what is the balance there? What could we do in your mind?
Well, there is many things that you guys could do possible, but it's not gonna help everyone 100% because probably some people's gonna think what it help us is gonna ruin the other people's life, and what is gonna help the other one's gonna ruin someone's life. You can't make everyone's 100% happy. It's impossible, But the way I see that it can help us a little bit is giving us the chance, if we apply for a visa in our country, giving us the chance to have a visa and we can come legally. Because a lot of people say, why don't you guys come with visa? The thing is, they don't give visa to everyone who applies for visa. It's not about the person behave bad in their country and then they don't let him in this country because he behaved bad. No, it's just because they deny the visa. That's it, period. Because I told you, my brother, he has 2 jobs in the hospital there. He was making good money there in Guatemala. And he applied for visa because he want to come here and see the war and just have vacations or whatever. And they denied the visa. Even he was working for the government in Guatemala. And then my other sister, she's a teacher there. She has her bank account and he was going to college too. And she went to apply for visa and they denied the visa to her too. So how are you gonna let people to get here legally if you don't give the visa to them? That's one thing, Just give us the chance, And if we break the rules here, you have the right to punish us, But for example, a person like me, let's say, if I stay in the country without permission, you guys can charge me for that, saying let's charge her $100, $1,000, $5,000, or put something like that for people like us. In that case, you guys gonna get some money from us. We're gonna pay for our mistake coming here illegally. And then if we behave bad, you have the right to kick us out of the country. You can do that, But the only thing we want is opportunity. We want you guys to give us opportunity to make some money and help our families. That's all. That's all. We don't ask for many things. We don't want the government give us money for free. We don't want, how do you call that thing when the government give stamps to people?
It gives, food stamps?
Yes. How you call that process?
Welfare?
Okay. We are not asking for welfare. You guys can take the welfare away from the Latinos if you want. Because we are hardworking people. We don't need money for free. We don't want money for free. We can work hard for our families. That's the only thing we want.
That's another question that I have for you. Some people in this country might say, well, look, we don't want the money going from this country out of the country. I've heard that from people before. I think I've heard it on television or something where, hey, they're shipping, money. I forget the number of dollars that leaves the country every year to go elsewhere. What do you say about that when, shipping money out of the country? Do you think that that's an issue for people, or have you heard that?
No, I never heard that before, but if someone has an issue with that, probably that person has never been in a situation like the situations that we've been in. Maybe because they are in a country with their families and then they have everything they wanted in life, and they never been in a country where they have limitations and where their families are starving, and their families, they don't have the money to send their kids to school, or their kids, they have to stop going to school when they are 8 because they have to start working to support their families.
Sure.
They haven't been in that situation. That's why they say those things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with that person.
How can someone like yourself help this country? Because we talk about helping people at home and helping your mom or your family home, how can you help this country moving forward to where it's a positive thing? It's a positive that we have immigrants coming in. Because right now, a lot of it is that it's either a negative or, oh, we feel sorry for the immigrants, and that's why we have to let them in. So a lot of times people don't understand. It doesn't have to be we feel sorry for somebody or it's a negative. There's, oh, this is a positive, and this is why. Could you explain to us what that positive is?
Well, the positive thing is, first of all, if I'm going to school, I'm gonna pay for my education. I'm gonna work and pay for my education. I'm not gonna ask the government to give me money to get my education. Second of all, I'm gonna make the money with, working, and I'm gonna pay taxes. Like, well, I was being paying taxes, but now if I'm making more money, I'm gonna pay more taxes. And what else I can say? I'm not planning on taking advantage of the country, because that's like a stabbing the hand or biting the hand that is feeding you.
Sure.
I'm so grateful with this country, because even a lot of people don't like me because I came legally, but I feel like that this country opened the doors for me, because it give me the chance to make money, to work, to go to a doctor, pay my bill at the doctor office, and eat and have a roof and pay all my stuff, and give me the chance to find a job, and bringing food to home.
Sure.
So I'm so thankful for this opportunity in this country.
Sure. You know what? I was watching something on television. It was actually a documentary or something, and they showed in Burma how there was a sick girl. She had tuberculosis, and she was really in pain. I mean, it was almost like my heart was just split in half watching the show. And I thought to myself, you know what? I want to go over there, and I want to take just one child that she couldn't get to a specialist. She was at a doctor's office, and they didn't have the money, and her parents or something, to take her to a specialist to get rid of that tuberculosis or whatever the problem was. And I thought, for me, sitting here, I want to fly over there and at least just take one child and take them from that situation and get them cured, or get them, the medicine that they need so that they're not in pain. And I thought, well, when I get there, I'm probably going to want to just help everybody, because, there's just so many kids hurting. Do you feel the same way? If you had the opportunity where you could get legal status here, that you would be able to go back to your country and help some sick kids or whatever might be there?
Well, I always thought about that, being here and making good money. I said I'm gonna go back to my country, and I wanna try to help the kids with education, because in my country that's the problem, education. A lot of the poor areas, they stop going to school when they are 8 or 10 years old, and they don't receive education because they are too poor to attend school. In my country, the elementary school are for free, but even the kids can go to school for free. The parents want the kids to go work and make some money to bring food to home. That's why they don't go to school. And that's one of the things that hurt me so much, knowing that my people, and knowing that a lot of kids are struggling with that. Because when a kid is growing without education, they're gonna have the same mindset. Like, no going to school, gonna be poor all the time, and gonna have a lot of disease because they don't know anything about the world. They don't get out of that bubble of ignorance.
And one question I have is, what can you do for this country? We talked about, your home country and different things. What can you do for this country that the people that are already here cannot do? Like, can you do something, for instance, show people how to really learn Spanish so that they can understand? So when they meet somebody, when they see, a Mexican person, they can get to know them personally. What can you do for this country that will expand our horizon of the people that are already here?
Well, one of the things I just can tell you is you cannot push people to learn something that they don't want. It's always in your mind and in your heart. If you want to do something, you do it. It's not that I don't have the ability like other people. No. You have the ability like me, like everyone else. We all have the same kind of brains. The only thing is, some people, they push themselves to that goal. If your goal is to learn another language, you go for it. If you don't want to do it, you're gonna have tons of excuses. So my thing is, if you don't want to do something, you're just gonna say, oh, it's because of the weather, because my mom didn't tell me, or because I don't have the money. That's the thing, you know. In my case, I didn't have excuse to not learn English. My only thing is I have to learn English, because with English I can open my horizons and I'm gonna have more opportunities in life. That was my thing. And that would be your thing too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It was great meeting you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Good luck with everything. Hopefully maybe sometime we can sit down, a couple years from now and see where life has taken you, and also see where life has taken me, because this is an inspiration. I mean, it's not just about people, well, it is about people crossing borders, but, like for myself, there's a lot of borders that I'd like to cross. And I'm not talking about countries and that sort of thing, but borders that we put up in our life that we want to cross over and make a difference. So,
Thank you very much.
thanks for sitting down with me.
Thank you.